So, we might actually see her again. After years of silence, it looks like the unknown god, the mysterious figure who stopped time and separated the twins in Genshin's opening scene, could finally be making a comeback in version 5.7. And no, this isn't some light lore mention or vague reference. According to recent leaks, something closely tied to her, or maybe even her directly, is going to show up. And it's not just wild speculation either. There's real evidence behind it. If you've ever created a new account, you've seen her. The woman floating above the sky, stopping the traveler and their sibling, surrounded by glowing cubes and otherworldly architecture. That's her. She never gave a name in-game, only introducing herself as the sustainer of heavenly principles, and then vanishing without another word. But now, based on multiple leaks tied to version 5.7, there's a very real chance she's coming back. And this time we might finally hear her name, Asmodee. Whether you call her Asmodee or the unknown god, she's the reason the twins were separated. She's literally the character that set the entire journey in motion. And after years of silence, she might finally be returning to the story. Leakers have discovered something in the files that immediately got everyone talking. Specifically, a new visual asset appeared under the name Scene Object HP Teleport. The HP part is almost certainly short for Heavenly Principles, which already raises eyebrows, but it's the texture itself that's the giveaway. It looks almost exactly like the visual effect we saw in the prologue. Those red spikes of energy ripping open the sky, the same portal-style animation she used when she appeared. And this isn't some reused artifact. It's freshly added in 5.7, and it matches her style almost perfectly. Now, even if we leave aside whether she'll physically appear or not, the fact that all of this is being discovered in version 5.7 of all patches adds weight. Because this is also the patch that features a new Dainsleif story quest. And if you've played Genshin long enough, you know that whenever Dainsleif shows up, something massive happens. He doesn't deal with small problems or filler storylines. Every time he's involved, we get closer to the real truth behind Khaenri'ah, the Abyss, the twins' origin, and Celestia itself. So the fact that Dainsleif is coming back, and at the same time these textures and effects tied to the unknown god show up, can't be a coincidence. It's extremely likely, though still not confirmed, that this visual is going to be part of his quest. Whether that's through a flashback, a direct confrontation, or even a glimpse of Celestia, something big is going to be revealed. What's also interesting is that Dainsleif's files in 5.7 don't just stop at quest data. For the first time, he now has a proper profile icon and even loaded combat animations. That opens up a few possibilities. We might get to play as him during a story segment, like we did with certain characters in the story quests. Or he might finally use his abilities on screen during the quest, even if we're not controlling him directly. Either way, this is the first version where he's more than just a passive narrator. We'll finally see his power in action. And considering how long players have been asking for a playable Dainsleif, this feels like a big step toward making that a reality. Looking at the bigger picture, the timing makes perfect sense. With Natlan wrapping up and the story slowly shifting from local regional politics to global stakes, we're getting deeper into the systems that govern Teyvat. Sumeru touched on divine knowledge. Fontaine confronted us with the concept of judgment. Now we're closing in on Celestia and the beings that rule from above. If the unknown god, or Asmodee, returns, this might be the first real shift away from the Archon-focused structure we've had for years. The implications are massive. We've spent the entire game collecting visions, working with Archons, and dealing with regional power struggles. But the unknown god sits above all of that. She doesn't use an elemental vision. Her powers don't follow the usual rules of elemental skill, burst, or energy. In the intro, she manipulated space, stopped time, and moved between dimensions. That puts her on a completely different tier, which brings up the next obvious question. Will she ever be playable? It's a fun idea, and people have been asking this for years. But as of now, it doesn't look like something we'll see anytime soon. Her powers are too far removed from Teyvat's elemental system. There's no known vision type that fits her, and if she's still serving as a primary antagonist, it wouldn't make sense to have her join the roster yet. That said, Hoyoverse has surprised us before. They've turned characters like Scaramouche, who started off as an enemy, into fully playable units with new identities and balanced kits. If the unknown god's role changes, or if she's revealed to be more of a misunderstood enforcer rather than a true villain, maybe her path opens up later. Not now, but eventually. Before we get to Asmodee, though, there's someone else who's always been just on the edge of becoming playable, and that's Dainsleif. And unlike Asmodee, his playability isn't speculation. It was already confirmed back in 2020. Hoyoverse, or miHoYo at the time, officially released his drip marketing art years ago, in the exact same format used for upcoming characters. He got a full character card with a unique title, and even an encrypted element. That's the same kind of rollout every 5-star character receives before joining the roster. It wasn't tied to any region or banner cycle, which made some people think it was just for lore. But no, the presence of that card confirmed one thing. Dainsleif is meant to be playable. It's just been a matter of when. And then there's the data from the 5.7 beta. He doesn't just have animations now. He has a full set of skills, a profile icon, and everything that points to him being either temporarily playable in the quest or fully joining the roster soon after. Considering how long he's been part of the lore, how closely tied he is to both the Traveler and their sibling, and how central he is to the story of Kaenria, this moment feels overdue. So if you're wondering who's likely to become playable first between Dainsleif and Asmodee, it's definitely Dainsleif. His element might still be encrypted, but the rest is now out in the open. This is happening, and if his quest in 5.7 is really the one where the unknown god finally appears again, there's a good chance we'll either fight alongside him or even control him briefly in battle. Just like we've done with other key characters in major Archon quests. So here's where we are. Version 5.7 could be a turning point, not just because of new characters or events, but because we might finally be stepping into the real narrative, the one that started with the twins, the unknown god, and a war that predates even the Archons. Whether or not she physically shows up, everything happening in 5.7 points to her return being near. The visual effects, the Heavenly Principles file, the leaks naming her Asmodee, and the presence of Dainsleif, all of it lines up in a way that's hard to ignore. I'm curious what you think. Is this really her comeback? Will we finally get some answers about what happened at the beginning of the game? Let me know in the comments. Because after years of silence, the sustainer of Heavenly Principles might be back. And this time, it's not just a dream or a memory. It's the start of something much bigger.